For those who have been watching me over the past few years, welcome back. And if you're new and you're watching for the first time, welcome. I am the founder of Umbericate Ventures. Our website is umbericate.com. We are a platform connecting American and Nigerian markets. And on our platform, we talk about exports, imports, business, investments, and projects. So our audience are twofold. We have Nigerian businesses and business owners, service providers and professionals looking for market access to the United States. And we also have Nigerian diaspora investors looking for market access to Nigeria. So I am a Nigerian-born US-based entrepreneur. I'm based in Las Vegas. I'm recording this in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we're going to talk about the Trump tariffs. I am going to break it down and simplify this for those who may not fully understand the scope of what the Trump tariffs mean. So currently, Nigeria imposes a 27% tariff on some, not all, on some US imports, meaning every time goods from the United States are exported, or let me phrase it from this angle. So if I am a Nigerian importer bringing in goods from America, as an example, I'm importing a car. This is just an example. I'm not saying that cars I'm not saying that the 27% tariffs that Nigeria charges US imports are imposed on vehicles, on used vehicles, but I'm just using that as an example. So Nigerian government will collect 27% duty before the importer can even touch the goods. They have to pay the Nigerian government 27% tariff on that good. So flip it around. I'm in the United States. So Nigeria has a 27% tariff imposed on US goods. On the flip side, with the Trump tariffs, it's only 14% imposed on Nigerian goods imported to the United States. So let's flip that scenario around now. I'm an importer. I'm based in the United States, and I'm bringing in Nigerian goods. Once the goods arrive US territory, in our case, we import from Lagos to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta, the goods are delivered to our facility here in Las Vegas. So with the Trump reciprocal 14% tariff, so you have Nigeria on one hand tariffing the United States 27%, and the United States in return is tariffing Nigeria 14%. So once the goods arrive US territory, meaning Atlanta, the United States is going to collect from me 14% on the goods. Now remember, there are some goods that are exempt under AGOA. So AGOA is the Agricultural Growth Opportunity Act, which Nigeria is a beneficiary to, meaning there are, I think, approximately 6,000 products that qualifies for AGOA. Majority of them are like food stuff. So we bring in crayfish, we import beaded jewelry. So most foodstuffs are protected under AGOA, which was enacted by the United States Congress, and it's up for review this September 2025. So whether Nigeria continues to become a beneficiary of AGOA or not is to be decided. Right now, the two major countries in Africa that are leveraging AGOA are South Africa and Nigeria. They're pretty much both neck and neck. And even at that, we are still not fully leveraging AGOA because it's not something that's discussed. It's not something that's talked about. It's not something that's advertised. So a lot of Nigerian exporters, if they're based there, or importers, in our case, we have a dual import-export operation, meaning we have our business in Nigeria, Bereket Ventures Limited, exports to our business in the United States, Bereket LLC. So we are a beneficiary of that, of AGOA. We use it all the time. Without AGOA, we wouldn't be able to be competitive. So back to the tariffs again. I should probably maybe even define it first. So what is a tariff? It's in its simplicity, in its absolute simplicity. A tariff means monies that the government collects when goods are brought into their territory. The tariffs help governments function, okay? So before the importer, and they're always paid by the importer, not the exporter. So before the importer even sees their goods, the United States has to collect tariffs based on those goods if tariffs are imposed on those goods. So as I understand, the 14% tariffs that US is charging Nigeria, fossil fuels like oil, petroleum products is not part of that. So whatever tariff that the US is currently charging on oil products imported from Nigeria is still relatively the same. So this 14% reciprocal tariff is just something that the Trump administration is imposing on Nigeria as a result of Nigeria imposing 27% on US imports. So you have a country that's relatively consumer-based and depends mostly on importations. 27% is relatively high. And what happens is that 27% is passed on to the consumers. So that is why you see a lot of goods in Nigeria, they are on the high side, especially imported goods. It's not because the importers are trying to screw the buyers or screw the local population. It's just nobody's in the business of losing money. And this 27% imposed, I'm talking on the Nigeria side now, has to be passed on to the consumer because a business is not going to be able to absorb those tariffs on their own. They'll go out of business if they did. So now you're talking about the 14% tariffs imposed on Nigerian goods. I'm going to give you an example. So let's say I'm bringing in $100,000 worth of declared goods, meaning on the commercial invoice or on the bill of lading, the declared value of those goods is $100,000, right? With the 14% tariff imposed on that $100,000. Now, that means that I have to pay the United States $14,000. Okay? 14% of 100,000 is 14,000. So now my landed cost just entering the shores of the United States has gone from 100,000 to 114,000. So guess what? I'm going to have to pass on that extra 14K to my buyers. So I'll give you an example. In Bereket, we import and sell crayfish under our Bereket brand on Amazon and Walmart. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Amazon and Walmart in a bit, but then let me just explain to you. So currently we are selling our crayfish at $12 an ounce. $12 an ounce, okay? If the crayfish product, so right now, remember, food products is exempt from the 14% tariff, but let's just say that they aren't, and their food products is protected under AGOA. So let's just say AGOA did not exist, and I'm currently selling my crayfish before the Trump 14% tariff for $12 an ounce. with the tariffs added to it, so you have to add 14% to that $12. So now I'm adding an extra. This is me now passing on that tariff to the buyer. So if you're buying crayfish from me, let's say you were buying at $12 an ounce yesterday, and if I were to impose that 14% tariff, I'm gonna have to add an additional $1.68, $1.68 to that $12. Now, your price has now gone from $12 an ounce plus $1.68 to $13.68 an ounce. So that is me passing on the tariff to the consumer, because I'm not going to be able to absorb that. If I were to absorb that, I'm going to go out of business. Now, how do you fix that? We could optimize our supply chain. Meaning if we don't want to pass on that 14%, if we don't want to pass on that 14% tariff to the customer, now I can then go back to my suppliers and say, hey, we have to negotiate our buy costs now. We're just going to have to negotiate, because I don't feel good passing on this 14% tariff to my buyers. I'm going to need you to work with me. So if I'm buying, let's say, a bag of crayfish for 100,000 naira, my suppliers have to be able to come down 14% in order for me to not pass on that 14% tariff to my customers. So if you look at it, it's a chain reaction, right? Everybody in one way will be impacted. The supply chain will be impacted. The importer is going to be impacted by 14%. The buyer is going to be impacted by 14%. So who wins? Nobody really. Because if buyers stop buying, so let's say you push back at me, right? I went from $12 to now $13.68. And you're like, you know what, Rich? I'm not buying at $13.68. I'm going to lose business. And when I start losing business, my supply chain in Nigeria is going to lose business. So this thing is cyclical. So the best way to fix it is in my opinion, I'm not an economist, I'm not a commerce, what I would say like a commerce guru. I don't have a PhD in commerce or anything like that. But you got to look at it from the standpoint of the United States government. So the United States government is looking at it like it's not fair that you are imposing a 27% tariff on our goods while we are imposing only a 14% tariff on yours. So that is where Trump is coming from here. And that is why he named it specifically reciprocal. Because he feels that the United States government is being taken advantage of, and they've been taking, like countries all over the world have been taking advantage of the United States government for so long. Meaning they're charging a higher percentage while the United States is charging a lower percentage. So even at a 27% tariff that the Nigerian government is charging the United States, and the United States in return is only charging a 14% tariff, Nigeria is still fares better than the US. You see, this is something that, and I'm glad you're watching this because I'm able to simplify and break this down for you. If you are an importer in the United States looking to import Nigerian goods, or if you're an exporter in Nigeria looking to export Nigerian goods into the United States, as the exporter, you don't pay the tariff. It's the importer that does. So now everyone has to get on the negotiating table and figure out what's going to work. Regardless, Every nation has to have tariffs imposed on goods that come into their country. They just have to, because otherwise, how are they going to earn? How are they going to make money to fix roads, to build hospitals, to improve infrastructures, to make it? How are they going to be able to make it easy for exporters and importers in those respective countries to make a living or to grow their business? So compared to the 27% that Nigeria charges and the 14% that US charges, it's disproportionately, it's not the same. Now, if Trump were to really, 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 really get on Nigeria, they'll just make it, okay, fine. You guys are charging us 27%. We are also going to charge 27% for goods brought into the United States. If that were to happen, tell me how many people can absorb a 27% charge? A lot of people are going to go out of business. It's going to make it practically impossible for an importer, exporter like myself to be able to do business. Because I'm not going to take the 14, let's just say it's 20, 14% is okay. But I'm not going to be able to absorb the 27% hit unless it's an essential good, meaning food, milk, eggs, like things like that. And you gotta also have to remember, Nigeria is still mostly a country that depends, for the most part, on importation. We don't really produce much. We import practically everything, from toothpaste to toilet paper, you name it. The United States, on the other hand, if this were to become a quote-unquote trade war, the United States is going to fare better than Nigeria, because the United States is relatively they have that manufacturing capabilities. Even though we still import certain things, we still have our reserves. Sometimes it's easier for you to import than it is for you to actually make the goods. So the United States has a fine balance there between being able to produce and also supplement the production with some imports. At the end of the day, it's necessary. So don't panic. Educate your buyers. If you are a Nigerian exporter watching this, educate your buyers. The best thing you could do is figure out a way to streamline your supply chain, cut costs, cut overhead. Same for importers, because we speak to both. People in the US looking to import Nigerian goods, and also people in Nigeria looking to export Nigerian goods into the United States. That's what the America platform is all about. We connect both markets. Now let's talk about AGOA, the Africa Growth Opportunity Act. This is something that I can probably say 90% of Nigerian exporters and importers don't even know about. If you go to AGOA's website, I think it's agoa.org, the two countries in Africa that are taking advantage of this program is South Africa and Nigeria, and they're neck and neck. Everybody else is a distant third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like Kenya is there, I think. Nigeria is leverage AGOA. Talk to your customs broker, because AGOA is duty free. So if I'm bringing in $100,000 worth of food stuff, that's part of that qualifies as an AGOA product, it means I don't have to pay. It's 100% duty free. And this is with our food products and our beaded jewelry. They qualify under the AGOA protection. So it's 100% duty free. I don't have to pay the United States government a single dime. But what happens is, in one way or another, The US still has to, they're still going to collect. For every product that we sell, we pay taxes on those products. You have to pay customs service fees. But this is not really a tariff. It's just like customs protection. Your customs agent is going to charge you a fee to enter your entry into the US database with the FDA and the US Customs in order for you to be able to clear your goods. So AGOA is something that isn't really talked about in Nigeria, and I don't know why. If I'm missing something here, educate me on it. Because in the past 5 years that I've been doing business in Nigeria, imports and exports, rarely, I mean, even I have to bring it up. But I know what qualifies what most food stuff, most eligible, admissible food products, jewelry, handmade goods, woodworks are protected under AGOA. 100% duty free. So that's what I wanted to share, guys. I wanted to educate my audience a little bit on what tariffs mean, because when they hear that word, people are a little bit intimidated by it, but it's in its simplicity. When you think of what a tariff is, it's the money that a government collects when goods are imported into that country. So if I'm exporting, like for instance, I exported some building materials from the United States to Nigeria about 8 months ago, I had to pay a significant amount of money on that. It may have been that 27% that Trump's talking about, because it was high. But the thing about it is, I wasn't trying to sell it. It was building materials that I wanted to use, that I'm using for my projects. But the thing about it, if I were to turn around and commercialize it, meaning I want to sell it to buyers in Nigeria, they're going to have to pay a higher cost, because I'm going to have to cover my cost of goods, the tariffs that I paid, and I also have to have a healthy profit margin. So ultimately, when you're hearing of tariff this, tariff that, no smart business is going to absorb those tariffs. They have to pass it on to the customer. They have to pass it on to the consumer. So a 14% tariff tagged onto a $12 product increases the price of that product from $12 to $13.68. So that's what that means, guys. I hope you find value in this. And if you do, post your comments in the comment section. Let's talk about this. Any questions that you have about our tariffs, let's talk about the Trump tariffs. I'd be happy to share what I know based on my experience. Check out our webinar. Go to Mberiket.com. We have an export webinar, export-related webinars on our platforms. Currently, it's 30,000 Naira for those interested in learning how to export to the US, how to attract US customers, learning and understanding the buying behavior of the US customer, how to make your business, your product more appealing for platforms like Walmart and Amazon. And I should probably I'm going to talk a little bit about Walmart before I go, and Amazon as well. That webinar is for you. We also offer a one-on-one consulting session for those interested in exports, investments. The consultation is more tailored to Nigerians in the United States looking to invest in Nigeria. But it's still applicable to Nigerian businesses. Like, that one is good if you have more of a specific question that you want answered, or you need more of a specific guidance. Whereas the webinar is an actual educational program where I spend about 45 minutes to an hour covering a certain topic with a little bit of a room for like Q&A. But if you want more of like specific hands-on guidance, consulting, advisory, where I advise you on certain things to do, what to avoid, how to save money, how not to lose money. Take advantage of the consulting, the one-on-one personalized consulting that is currently 20,000 Naira per 15-minute consulting session. And you can book as much time as you want, starting at 15 minutes. If you want to book a half hour, you can do that. If you want to book 45 minutes to an hour, you can do that. All of this is available on Mberiket.com. For the consulting, it's Mberiket.com/consulting, very straightforward. For the webinar, it's Mberiket.com/webinar. And I also want to add another thing. I think you're going to love this. We are now helping Nigerians in the US import the foods and the cultural items that they love into the United States. Doorstep service. You don't have to worry about customs clearance. You don't have to worry about documentation. All you have to do is pay. All you have to do is pay for your goods. Right now it's 20 kg minimum. The maximum is 500 kg. You will deliver your goods to our team in Lagos, and we will process the importation and delivery to your door. It doesn't matter where you are in the continental United States. You could be in Ohio, you could be in Idaho, you could be in South Carolina, North Carolina. It doesn't matter. When we say door to door, we mean door to door. So learn more, find out about that. Go to our contact page, Mberiket.com/contact, and send us a message on what you want imported. And we will advise you and guide you on what's admissible and what isn't. Like, certain food items obviously are not admissible. Like rice is not. Beans, the most you can get out of Nigeria is like 4 to 6 little Derrica cans. But if you're looking for more of a commercial scale items that you could bring in and sell, bulk foods, we can do that as well. And this particular program that we're launching, the importation of foodstuffs into food and durable goods into the US, is great for families and small businesses. So if you are a family of 4, you could load up a box. You get 20 kg minimum. Load whatever you want in that. Yam is not admissible in it, so you can't bring yam. But let's say you want to buy gari, you want to bring in salt, pepper. We will have a box for you. You load up that box, minimum of 20 kg, and that's yours. Once the goods get to the United States, we will use our platform on FedEx, UPS, and we'll deliver it to your door, providing you with a tracking number. Learn more about that, Mberiket.com/contact. I'll end with Amazon and Walmart. So we've been selling on Amazon now for 15 years. And we've just recently expanded to Walmart.com. So on Amazon, you can find Mberiket products. You can find our foods. You can find our durable goods. Same with Walmart platform. Fulfilled by Walmart. Walmart handles all the fulfillment for us. You just go on Walmart, you buy the goods, Walmart delivers it to you. Expanding into Walmart is a great business strategy for you, for those looking at importing for US e-commerce. Right now, Walmart is the number 2 when it comes to e-commerce. Amazon is number 1 with over $400 billion in annual sales. Walmart is right behind it at over $100 billion. Those are the 2 main platforms that you want to sell if you're looking at productizing Nigerian goods, meaning made in Nigeria. And that's what we specialize in. We don't do Canada. We don't do Europe. We are strictly US, Nigeria, US markets. Simple. And we are able to offer these services with conviction because we have over 22 years of experience in both markets. Canada, I can help you with. Europe, I can help you with. Southeast Asia, I can help you. But when it comes to US, Nigeria, US, Mberiket.com is your platform. So check it out, Mberiket.com. Be sure to join our WhatsApp group. We have over 800 active members on WhatsApp and over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for more. Check us out on WhatsApp. The link, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find our WhatsApp link. Join it today. That's absolutely free of cost to you. You are able to talk to other Nigerians, building in Nigerians abroad, building in Nigeria. You can talk to Nigerian service providers, farmers looking to export into Nigeria. Anything that you need done, it's within reach at Embericat.com. My name is Rich. I'll close with that, guys. Thank you for watching, and looking forward to connecting with all of you. All right.